big one was the HD DVD crack code. Tell me that story.
So the HD DVD code, basically what happened was there was a code that was leaked out online that was a series of letters and numbers that was said to, if coupled with the right piece of software, could decrypt an HD DVD movie. And
so that you can make a copy of it,
right,
or
so
do
you
whatever
can,
you want to do with it.
right, so you can make a copy of it. No one really could prove this. There was just a string of numbers. It was a rumor that this code could remove or could crack these HDVDs. That was there was a bunch of cease and desist letters that were sent out to a number of different organizations. Digg, Google, I think Flickr received one. I mean, there's just a bunch of different companies. And so what we did to comply with that was to remove the story from the site. And because the system is set up in a way that the users have complete control of the site, they can promote any stories or any news articles that they like at any time. So the backlash from our community was that that code is kind of in the public domain. It's just a series of numbers and letters, a small string of characters. And so they were posting it back in the comments. There were people that made songs about it and posted it on YouTube. It was pretty much all over the web, and it was really the community on the net on a bunch of different sites that said that this is ridiculous because this is kind of free speech. I mean, this code is everywhere. You can't tell us that we're not allowed to post, a 15 or 20 digit number on the web. I mean, it's just numbers and letters, and that it really doesn't do anything. So there was tons of blog posts about that all over the net. So that was happening, and basically the front page became filled with these HD DVD related stories. And we couldn't keep up with the amount of new incoming stories. There was just nothing we could do. We didn't technically have the solution in place to go and mass remove stories like that. So after looking at it and just watching kind of what was going on the net, it was clear that the community was right and that this was everywhere, and it really was kind of in the public domain. So I made a blog post and said, hey, we're going to keep it up, and we agree with you, and we believe that it's public domain, so post away. And so a few more stories came, and then it eventually just died off because it wasn't interesting anymore. So it was like it's funny how I think that it would have been pretty much a non-issue had those CNDs not gone out, because that's what really drew all the attention to the fact that that code even existed in the first place.
And was there any repercussion from the copyright holder, the people that sent you the CNDs, after you decided to keep it up?
No, we never received any communication from them whatsoever. I think, I don't know what they were thinking, but it was pretty much everywhere on the net at that point.
So, is there a danger, though, that, not on that story in particular, but that there is this ability of people to organize and somewhat game the system?
Well, one of the things that we do behind the scenes that we don't share with everyone is kind of the technology that we've put in place over the last 2.5 years that prevents gaming of stories. So the thing that's most important to us as a website is that the front page is made up of stories that have a unique, diverse pool of people digging them. So we look at who's digging the story. If a group gets together and all digs a story, nothing's going to happen. You could go and create 200 accounts right now, all dig a single story, and we're smart enough to know that behind the scenes we're not going to put that on the front page because it doesn't represent that unique, diverse pool. In the case of the HDDVD, it was truly a huge, diverse pool of people that all said this is something that's important to me. So that's how the system works, and it promoted those stories.
And how do you deal with the spammers and sploggers of the world?
There's a lot of spammers that try and game the site. I mean, there's so much attention on that front page, and so many millions of people coming to see it per month that to get your story up there is worth a lot of money to people that want to try and spam. So we look at just so many different factors behind the scenes to make sure that it is a legit story. And oftentimes, if there is spam that's kind of rising in the ranks in the upcoming area, there'll be a group of users that find it their mission in life to go through and just like on an inbox clean out the spam. They go through Digg stories, and anything that they find that is spammy, they'll mark it and they'll bury it as spam. And if enough people do that, the story just disappears. So it's you know, if it wasn't for the users, you know, the site would be filled with spam. But they're really good at cleaning that stuff out.
Do you have any idea who the typical Digg user is?
You know, it differs depending on the section of the site. There's really all different types of users on the site. When we kind of analyze behind the scenes who's doing what, we see, you know, certain users that only have a couple niche interests. Like there might be a user that comes in and likes, you know, celebrity gossip and also videos, and there might be another one that comes in and likes just technology stories and removes everything else. So all different types of people coming from all over the world. So it's pretty cool.
Now, one thing about the front page, you talked about the front page a little bit. The front page isn't the top, most popular, most dug stories. It's the newly popular.
Right.
Why is that?
Well, I wanted to keep the front page fresh. And the best way to do that is to put whichever story we say is now has hit enough digs to be pushed to the top of the front page, to basically shift everything down. And so when you come to the site, you always see the freshest content that was just recently promoted. In the right-hand side, we have a top 10 list. That is, you know, the 10 hottest stories in the last few hours. So if you want to see what's hot right now, you can just glance over to that top 10. Or if you're just curious as to what just recently became popular, the freshest story of the day, it's right at the top there for you.
So I want to move back to the world of television here a little bit, because Digg's up and going, Digg's popular as heck, and now all of a sudden we have the future of my business. It's not, you know, well-coiffed, beautiful people sitting in beautiful sets. It's you and Alex sitting on your couch with laptops in your lap drinking beer.
Right.
How did Digg Nation come about?
Digg Nation, so Alex and I hosted a television show together. And then the powers that be decided to remove Alex from the show. And we just had a blast when we were hosting TV together. It was so much fun. It was a really good show. And we knew that we had a really good chemistry when we were working together. And Digg stories are some of the most fascinating, just, you know, really crazy, cool nuggets of news to talk about. So we figured, why not get together and, you know, not really try and go overboard. Just throw a couch there, sit down, and just like we would do, you know, in the evenings anyway, but, you know, turn a camera on. And so that's what we did, and it's great because it feels like, I know that it's something that we would do even if we didn't have the camera there. So it doesn't feel like work. I mean, it's just a couple guys chatting about the things that they enjoy.
And it's real. I guess that's the thing that gets me, is that it's not scripted, it's not produced, it's not slick. It's two guys sitting on a couch, drinking beer. And
we even one of the things that let me start that over again. One of the things when we're preparing for the show that we do is that we make sure that we don't look at the stories or read the stories out loud, because we want to get that natural reaction as if we were telling the story for the first time to the other person. So there's absolutely, other than just picking the stories, there's not really any prep. And then we just hit record and start going at it.
And I guess the other thing that kind of blows me away about the whole thing is that not only is it fun and irreverent and hilarious, but it's actually got a commercial appeal to it. I mean, you have sponsors. You seem to be, you know, making money off of this deal. Is that a surprise?
Yeah, actually, it's a surprise. We had a couple sponsors that took a chance on us very early on, because this kind of new generation of videos